You've been hiding behind cameras and podcasts for weeks, Representative. President Trump's voice, cold and sharp as surgical steel, sliced through the stunned silence. You attacked his wife. You thought she was an easy target. But you've made a fatal miscalculation. Now, you answer to me. The political ghost of Jasmine Crockett refused to find peace, but stripped of her committees, abandoned by her party, and reviled by the public, she was a pariah. Her crusade against the Vance family had cost her everything, yet her obsession festered, twisting into a final, desperate gambit. The public attacks had failed. It was time, she decided, to make it brutally personal. Her target? The annual First Chapter Literacy Gala, a high-profile charity event chaired by none other than Usha Vance. It was Usha's passion project, a cause she had championed long before her husband became vice president. Crockett saw it as the perfect stage, a room full of society's elite, cameras, and most importantly, Usha herself, seemingly unprotected. The plan was simple and vile. Corner Usha Vance at her own event, unleash a torrent of accusatory questions, and capture the confrontation on a hidden camera, creating a viral moment of chaos that no one could ignore. In the Oval Office, the information came via a secure channel, a tip from one of Crockett's own former staffers, a young woman so disgusted by the plan that she had risked her career to expose it. J.D. Vance read the intel, his face hardening into a mask of cold fury. She's going to ambush Usha at her own charity event. I'll have the Secret Service bar her from the entire city block. President Trump listened, his expression unreadable. He tapped a finger on the resolute desk, a slow, rhythmic beat in the silent room. "No, J.D.," he said finally, a dangerous glint in his eyes. "You won't. If a rabid animal walks willingly into a cage, you don't scare it away. You lock the door behind it." "Mr. President, with all due respect, I will not allow my wife to be subjected to that kind of harassment," Vance countered, his voice tight. "She won't be," Trump assured him. "Usha is stronger than this pathetic creature, but Crockett thinks she's hunting a lone gazelle. She has no idea she's about to stumble into a lion's den. We're going to the gala." Vance was stunned. "You mean we attend?" "We attend," Trump confirmed. "Unannounced. We let her spring her pathetic little trap, and then, when she feels she has her moment of victory, we spring ours." That evening, Vance sat with Usha, explaining the president's audacious plan. He expected her to be hesitant, to want to avoid the confrontation. Instead, he saw a fire ignite in her eyes. "He's right," Usha said, her voice firm. "This woman's poison only works in the shadows and through a camera lens. Let's see how brave she is when the truth is standing right in front of her. Let her come." The gala was in full swing, a glittering affair in the grand hall of the National Portrait Gallery. Usha Vance was the picture of grace and elegance, moving through the room, thanking donors, and speaking passionately about the importance of children's literacy. She showed no hint of the drama about to unfold. At precisely 9 p.m., Jasmine Crockett entered through a side door, a weaselly aide trailing her, his phone held discreetly to capture the planned ambush. She scanned the room, her eyes locking onto Usha. This was it, her moment of vindication. She moved through the crowd, a shark gliding towards its prey. She cornered Usha near a display of early American portraits. "Usha Vance," Crockett said, her voice loud enough to make nearby guests turn. "I'm glad I could catch you. I have a question the American people deserve an answer to." Usha turned to face her, her expression calm, yet unyielding. "This is a charity event for children, Representative." Oh, I think the children deserve to know about the character of the people who claim to lead them, Crockett retorted, her voice rising. I want to know, face to face, how you justify. She doesn't justify anything to you. The voice was not J.D. Vance's. It was deeper, more powerful, and it cut through the room like a command. The crowd parted. Standing there, having entered silently from a private entrance, was President Donald J. Trump. Beside him, his face a mask of cold fury, was Vice President J.D. Vance. Jasmine Crockett froze, her mouth agape, the color drained from her face. This was not part of the plan. This was a nightmare. President Trump walked forward slowly, deliberately, until he was standing between Crockett and Usha, creating an impenetrable shield. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The sheer force of his presence had hijacked the entire event. You've been hiding behind cameras and podcasts for weeks, Representative, Trump's voice, cold and sharp as surgical steel, sliced through the stunned silence. Every phone in the room was now pointed at them. Crockett's aide was forgotten, his own camera, now just one of 100 capturing his boss's utter demolition. You attacked his wife, Trump said, gesturing to Vance without taking his eyes off Crockett. You lied about her citizenship. You lied about her family. You lied about her character. You thought she was an easy target, a private citizen you could bully for a soundbite. He took another step closer, forcing her to instinctively take a step back. But you've made a fatal miscalculation. You thought you could confront her alone. Now, you answer to me. The words hung in the air, an undeniable declaration of war. You come into this beautiful event, an event for children, and you try to turn it into your own pathetic, last-ditch political rally, Trump continued, his voice dripping with contempt. You are not a representative. You are a disgrace. You aren't a public servant. You are a professional liar. J.D. Vance then stepped forward, standing beside the president. He looked at Crockett, but he spoke to the room. This is the woman my wife defended herself against with grace and truth, Vance said, his voice ringing with pride. This is the woman who, when faced with facts, resorted to bigotry, and when faced with decency, resorted to more lies. My wife's crime was to be a strong, successful, patriotic American, and for that, this person has tried to ruin her life. Trump delivered the final blow. He looked around at the assembled guests, the powerful and the influential. Everyone here tonight is a witness. You are seeing the end. This is what happens when hate and lies are confronted by strength and truth. There is no debate. There is no discussion. He turned back to Crockett, who looked as if she might collapse. Your 15 minutes of fame are over. Your time in Washington is over. Now get out of this building. Get out of my sight. And get out of this family's life. He turned his back on her, a gesture of ultimate dismissal. He put a protective arm around Usha Vance, and with the vice president on her other side, they turned and walked away, a united, unbreakable front. Security guards moved in, gently but firmly, escorting a speechless, humiliated Jasmine Crockett out of the event. She didn't protest. She couldn't. There were no more lies to tell, no more stages to hijack. She had sought a final, personal confrontation and had gotten one. Just not the one she had planned. She had been publicly, personally, and permanently silenced, not by an argument, but by an undeniable truth. You do not attack the president's family. In this ultimate confrontation, President Trump didn't just defend the Vance family, he delivered a public verdict. What do you think made his direct, in-person intervention so much more powerful than any statement or press release could have been? Share your thoughts below, and for more stories of absolute victory, be sure to subscribe.